All right, welcome to the Moving to Florida Show, Episode 2. The topic of today's show is 10 reasons you should consider moving to Florida. I'm Judson.
I'm Mohit.
And Mohit, there are literally hundreds of thousands of people making Florida their new home every year. Florida officials estimate that there are 900 people per day moving here. That is a lot of people moving to Florida.
Wow, that's a lot of people.
Yeah. So why are all those people moving to Florida?
It's the weather.
Well, I tell you what, we've got 10 reasons that everyone should consider moving to Florida. Wikipedia puts Florida's estimated population at 21.5 million people. That was as of June of 2019. I've seen that they estimate the 2020 census is going to show Florida has hit 22 million people. So,
wow, that's a lot of people down here.
Huge growth. I believe that we are the second state as far as the number of people moving here. There's a lot of people moving to Texas as well. But here we are in beautiful sunny Florida. It is a beautiful spring day today, nice and sunny outside. So let's talk about why all these folks should move to Florida.
All right. Well, you want to start with number 10? I'll start with number 10. How about that?
Get us going.
All right. So 10, the cost of living isn't as expensive as you think. Like cities like Miami, some of the prestige beach towns can be on par with some of our nation's most expensive areas. And a home with an ocean view will always be like more expensive. But there are plenty of great areas to live throughout Florida that can be, relatively affordable. According to worldpopulationreview.com, the average cost of living in Florida is 2 points below the national average. And interestingly, the cost of housing is right at 4.5% below the national average. As we, discuss shortly, Florida also has no state income tax, meaning that you get to keep more of your money. Isn't that nice?
Yeah, I like keeping more of my money for sure.
Rather than giving it to the government.
That's right. All right, number 9, you can live in a perpetual state of vacation, or is that staycation? So seriously, you're going to be living where everybody else vacations. Florida gets millions and millions of visitors annually. Most of them are visiting our theme parks and our beaches. If you're in Central Florida, you're near the theme park capital of the world. And pretty much anywhere you live in Florida, you're only an hour and a half or less to the beach. Most places you're, maybe even an hour, even less. And as far as the theme parks go, Central Florida is loaded with them. We've got Disney World. They have 4 theme parks here, 2 water parks, tons of resorts. Universal Studios has 2 parks, and they've recently announced that they're building a 3rd theme park right here in Orlando as well. They also have a new water park called Volcano Bay. We've got SeaWorld right here in Orlando as well. They also have a theme park. We've got a little more local park called Fun Spot America. Have you ever been to Fun Spot America, Mo?
I have. I actually went there when I first moved down here. They've been here for a while though. But yeah, it's a really cool place. It's like a carnival year round.
Right. So we've also got Busch Gardens over in Tampa, and I believe they have a water park over there as well. We also recently mentioned Island H2O. That's the new water park at Margaritaville that's just down the road from us. And the good news about living in Florida is that all of these offer special Florida resident-only deals on their annual passes, as well as sometimes their day passes as well. So we're definitely going to be discussing that on a future episode, but it's safe to say that many of the residents of Central Florida are visiting these parks regularly.
Yeah, absolutely. And number 8, there are plenty of sports teams to cheer for here. I mean, if you're a big sports fan, this is like a hub down here of tons of sports teams. So like from professional sports to college sports, Florida offers some of the best sports teams in the country to cheer on. While most states have maybe like 1 or 2 teams, Florida has 3 when it comes to the NFL. You got the Miami Dolphins. Yeah, and then you have Jacksonville Jaguars, and then you have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, the Bucs are looking like they're going to be pretty fun to watch this year as well.
You got Tom Brady down there.
That's right. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out. It's going to be interesting for sure. Florida also has 2 professional baseball teams. We've got the Tampa Bay Rays and the Miami Marlins. We've got 2 professional basketball teams, the Miami Heat and the Orlando Magic.
We've got 2 professional hockey teams in Florida, the Florida Panthers and the Tampa Bay Lightning, and 2 professional soccer teams, Orlando City and Inter Miami.
We also have great colleges such as the University of Florida Gators, Florida State, the Miami Hurricanes, and the UCF Knights. Florida is also the traditional home for Major League Baseball spring training, so teams are informally organized into what's called the Grapefruit League.
Yeah, then you have golfers down here. We got the PGA Tour that begins down here. PGA Professional Golfers Association of America is headquartered here in Palm Beach Gardens, while the LPGA is headquartered in Daytona Beach. Countless number of golf tournaments are held in Florida every year. And then you have, your Bay Hill Invitational.
I like to get out and hit some balls from time to time, but professional golf is definitely not something I watch. It's a little too slow for me. But it's safe to say that there's a lot of golf going on in Florida for sure. And if that is a little too slow for you, we've also got NASCAR here. They are headquartered out at Daytona Beach. They begin all three of their major auto racing series in Florida at the Daytona International Speedway.
Yeah. So number 7, what we got for number 7?
Number 7, the majority of the year, it is sunny and warm here. Just like we said, it is a beautiful sunny day today. I'm looking forward to getting out there here in a little bit and enjoying the sunshine.
It's supposed to be 94 today.
It does not feel that warm outside. We've got a nice little breeze rolling through and it feels pretty good out as long as you're in the shade. All right. All right. So number 7, again, the majority of the year, it's sunny and warm. We talked about this in our first episode. Florida is definitely known as a sunny and warm state. And it's true that it gets quite hot in the summer, but there is a large part of the year when the temperatures are very mild, actually. So I love the spring and the fall when the normal temperatures range from like the 60s to the 80s. I love just being able to leave the windows open in the house and get a nice breeze coming through, not having to run our AC all day long. And then our winters are also very mild too. Temps rarely get down into freezing. Our average year-round temperature is 83 for the high and 65 for the low. That's the average year-round temperatures, and that is according to worldclimate.com.
This is also pretty dependent on what part of the state you're looking at. For instance, in the Panhandle, it gets a little colder in the winters, while compared to South Florida, where you'll have never a reason to even own a sweater down there. With such beautiful sunny weather, Florida gives you more opportunity to get outside and explore the great outdoors.
We are definitely about the great outdoors here in Florida, and I think that may be another one on our list here. So let's get to number 6.
Number 6, Florida is one of the least taxed states. Because Florida produces a tremendous amount of revenue from the tourism industry, Florida is indeed one of the least taxed states. Florida is listed at number 8 most tax-friendly states according to Business Insider.
No state income tax. That is a big deal for sure.
Of course, the IRS is still going to make their money, and get their cut. But the state of Florida does not charge you for producing an income for your family here. For some of you moving from high tax states like New Jersey and California, this could mean a savings of at least 10% or more on your income. Of course, if you're still employed in those states and working remotely from your home in Florida, the state where your employer is located may still try to tax you there. It's best to talk to a CPA about this if you're concerned about it.
Definitely, yeah. Talk to a CPA if you're still going to be working in that state, because that is very likely that they may still tax you. What I've noticed too is Florida sales taxes are relatively reasonable. I know it does vary some depending on your county and your city taxes, but here in Winter Garden, for example, our taxes are about 6.5% on sales taxes, and we don't pay any sales tax on grocery items. So that definitely makes a big difference as well.
Yeah, and your average property taxes are quite low here. It's $1,041 per every $100,000 of your home value.
Right. I see it. It's about 1% of your home value is the annual taxes. And again, that does vary depending on where you're located, because you've got different county.
Yeah, it depends county to county.
Your schools and all of that stuff. But, taxes is definitely a complicated topic. We're definitely not CPAs. We're both realtors. But perhaps in the future episode, we'll be able to have a CPA on to talk about taxes and really give people a breakdown of what we're talking about here.
Yep. Number 5, Judson.
Hey, this is one of my favorite ones. You're never far from a beach, no matter where you settle in Florida. So, like I said earlier, there aren't many places where you can live here that you're more than an hour and a half from the beach. And a lot of places you're a lot closer than that. So here in Central Florida, for example, I can get to Cocoa Beach in an hour flat. If I want to go out to the Gulf Coast, that does take me about an hour and a half, depending on on, which of the beaches I'm going to. Of course, we do have plenty of beautiful lakes much closer to home as well. So looking at the major metros like Miami, Jacksonville, Tampa, Pensacola, etc., the majority of Floridians live even closer to a beach than we do right here in Winter Garden. And Florida does have some beautiful beaches as well. I know I've seen that some of Florida's beaches are frequently named in the top beaches in the world, as far as things like Sarasota's Siesta Beach, Clearwater Beach. I know that one is commonly ranked as one of the most beautiful beaches in the world. Pensacola is beautiful as well with its white sugary sand like we talked about before. And of course, you got South Beach in Miami. That is a pretty popular one as well. And there's also a lot of beautiful beaches here in Florida that are not quite as well known, in the smaller towns. So everyone will have to stay tuned when we talk about a beach episode in the future.
All right, number 4, Florida has a strong economy and job market. The Florida economy and job market has been very strong due to the top industries of tourism, international trade, agriculture, aerospace, and life science. In 2017, Florida has recorded 116 million visitors. That's 112 in 2016.
Yeah, 4 million.
So, 4 million more. At the end of 2015, Florida's economy was recorded as the 4th largest in the U.S. behind California, Texas, New York, with a gross domestic product of $840 billion and $77 billion in state budget. Man, that's a lot of money.
It is. Yeah. Hey, speaking of aerospace, we actually watched the launch this morning. Unfortunately, it was a little bit overcast and we could not see it from the backyard, but it's always fun to sit and we'll pull up the launch on YouTube and you can actually watch them kind of explaining what the mission's about and everything. And I can see, they do the launch, we're watching it on TV, and then you look out to the horizon and you can see it looks like just a big bottle rocket going up. So that's a really cool thing that we have the aerospace here.
Yeah, and the best part is the aerospace is from Central Florida. It's about an hour drive from here. So Cape Canaveral, NASA, a lot of the SpaceX is down here. So there's a lot of aerospace companies that are coming down here in droves. Actually, Melbourne has become one of the most popular cities to move to if you're part of the aerospace program. So we'll talk about more about Melbourne in a future episode.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
So number 3.
Number 3, theme parks and local attractions offer a generous Florida resident annual pass. So I know this is it's getting to be a recurring theme here, but it's definitely another topic that we're going to do a full episode on because Central Florida is known as the theme park capital of the world, and it definitely gets that title for a serious reason. I mean, we've got the world-renowned Disney World here. We've got Universal Studios. We've got SeaWorld and more. And nearly every one of these theme parks offers a specially priced annual pass just for Florida residents. You have to be a Florida resident and provide proof of that. You have to show them your driver's license to get this discount. And that's not transferable or anything like that. Now, I'll tell you, the reason I feel like this deserves to be its own episode is really twofold. First of all, being less than 30 minutes from Disney World right here where we live, we talk to people all the time that are moving to Central Florida specifically to be near Disney, whether that's because they're getting a job at Disney or, they just love it and want to go as frequently as they can. A lot of people move to Central Florida specifically to be near Disney. Now, another reason that I want to do an episode on just this topic is there's not just one annual pass per park. There's tons of different options. They're at different price points. They've got different perks and different access levels as well. So definitely an in-depth topic. And I feel like, hopefully we'll be able to find somebody that's an expert on this that can really break it down for us and let us know what, theme park passes are the best ones to look for Florida residents.
Yeah, absolutely. Me and my family are, since our first episode, I told you guys we were pass holders for Disney and Universal Studios. So we cover both the major parks over here, both the major companies. We support them. We go there probably once or twice a month at least, depending on time of year, because we know we don't like the big crowds and stuff. But number 2, Florida has an amazing variety of food and drinks. With 825 miles of sandy shoreline, Florida is no stranger to good seafood. According to the Florida Department of Agriculture, Florida produces more than 84% of the nation's supply of grouper, pompano, mullet, stone crab, pink shrimp, spiny lobster, and Spanish mackerel. Is that how you pronounce it? Spanish mackerel?
Spanish mackerel. That's right. I'm not sure exactly what that is, but I tell you what, listening to that list, I think I need to expand my taste buds a little bit because there's a few of those that I've never had before. I can tell you I've had stone crab and it is delicious. It's actually the claws is what you eat. So stone crab season runs October through April, and it's sustainable because they only harvest the claws of the stone crab, and those regrow. So they actually harvest the claws and then throw the crabs back, and they regrow the claws for next season.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that makes them sustainable and, again, very delicious. So if you like to get outdoors, there are plenty of opportunities to get out and catch some of your own fish as well, be it freshwater or saltwater. And then Florida also has a scalloping season where you can actually go out and catch your own bay scallops. Mo, have you ever been scalloping?
I have not.
So scallops are, the little, you see them in a restaurant. It's just like a little white piece of meat, but those actually come in kind of like a clam shell. And over on the Gulf Coast, kind of near like Three Sisters Springs, Inverness, that type of area, you can actually go out and go scalloping. So there are charter tours. They'll take you out for like a half day or a full day, and you actually just go like snorkeling out in the bay. I've never gotten to do it, but we do plan on doing it this year. And you can go snorkeling out in the bay, catch your own scallops. The guides, if you pay a guide to take you out, they'll shuck them right there for you. And there's actually local restaurants in town where you can take them and they'll cook your catch for you. So we're looking forward to that one. That sounds like a fun adventure.
That sounds like fun. We might have to join you.
For sure.
Florida has many delicious craft breweries as well. So
yeah, what's your favorite brew?
Right now, I would say at Crooked Can, which is a local place in Winter Garden. I don't think I have a favorite brew. I mean, I like to try different types, but I'm more of a Scotch drinker, so I don't drink too much beer. But which one is your favorite? So
Crooked Can, as you mentioned, has an Axum Stout. They make it with the coffee beans from the Axum I guess it's a coffee company that's right here in town as well. They use their coffee beans and make this stout that is just absolutely delicious. If you like stouts, man, it's definitely worth a try.
We have a lot of local breweries down here. A lot of them. There's one in Oviedo that's called it's called OBC, or Oviedo Brewing Company. It's really, really cool out there. I think they're in partnership with Crooked Can, I think. So yeah, we got a lot of local brewers down here. We also have an awesome distillery up in St. Augustine, which is known as the country's oldest city. At the distillery, they make small batches of whiskey, rum, gin, and vodka. And we have a Lake Ridge winery right nearby here.
Yes, yeah, up in Claremont. Yeah, I love their Southern White and their Southern Red. Those are both really good muscadine wines.
So we're also known for our oranges, isn't it? So Florida is second to only Brazil in global orange production and orange juice production too. And the state's the world's leading producer of grapefruits. Florida produces more than 70% of the United States supply of citrus.
Yeah, so I was kind of surprised that, I mean, obviously Florida is known for its oranges, but to learn that we were still such a big producer. And I mean, we're second only to Brazil, and that's an entire country. That is a huge country, and we're second only to them as far as orange production. One of the stats we also found that in most seasons, more than 90% of America's orange juice is made from Florida-grown oranges. So we are putting out a lot of orange juice. We're also known for strawberry and blueberry production. So shout out to Plant City and their annual Strawberry Festival. Now, I haven't been to that festival, but I've driven through Plant City a few times, and there are miles and miles of strawberry fields there.
Oh, it's awesome. You have to go check it out one year. I mean, it's really, really, it's like a little carnival that they have going on with the Strawberry Festival.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll definitely have to check that out.
The state also has, heavy Cuban influences down here. Our neighborhood to the south. So Florida is also known for amazing empanadas, Cuban coffees, plantains, and other Cuban dishes.
Oh man, I love that Cuban coffee.
Yeah. We get it served every day at the office.
That is strong stuff.
That'll wake you up for sure.
So Mo, I know you said that you're annual pass holders for Disney, and you mentioned that you originally had the Epcot pass. I know they have a food and wine festival there. Isn't that kind of like a dining around the world type thing?
Oh, it's fabulous because you have over 120 countries worth of food over there, and they used to only do it for about 30 days, where you would go around the World Showcase in Epcot, and you could try different foods and different wines. It's like sample sizes, But by the time you get to your third and fourth country, you're already full or a little buzzed. You can probably knock it out in a couple of days, but we'd like to spread it out now that Epcot is doing the Food and Wine Festival for like at least 33 months of the festival. So we get to go back and try our favorite foods. We really love Greece when Greece is out there. We like Canada. I'm a big steak eater, so Canada does the steaks out there. So there's a few places that we really enjoy. Mexico is another great spot. There's a ton of them that we've tried over the years that we look forward to it every year, and it's crowded every single time. I mean, you got to wait in line for a sample size of the foods.
Yeah. So what time of year does that run?
During the fall, so around October, November is when Food and Wine Festival is at its peak. So now they've started it in late August all the way through November. So towards school getting out, all the way to almost the holidays.
Yeah, I know. I've been to the Food and Wine Festival once, and I definitely did not make it to 120 countries. I might have made it to 10, and it was I was definitely very full and maybe a little bit buzzed as well.
I don't blame you, but I'm usually buzzed by the third or fourth one myself.
All right, should we do number one?
Number one.
All right, number one. There is so much to do outdoors. We definitely hit on that Florida is a very sunny state, so that gives you plenty opportunity to get outdoors and do something. We've got over 200 plus days of sunshine a year. This gives Floridians plenty of time to spend outdoors, partaking in everything from water sports to athletics and exercise, visiting those theme parks we talk about, and even local attractions, because here's the thing. If we've already got a big tourist industry, there's a lot more to do here than just the tourist attractions. There's a lot more fun things to get out and do. Now, personally, I definitely like the water sports. I definitely do not have a boat yet, but that is that is definitely on my agenda. So popular water sports in Florida include everything from swimming, boating, skiing, snorkeling, scuba diving. We've definitely got a lot of scuba diving down in South Florida. Paddleboarding. That is about the only kind of boat I have right now, but I do enjoy getting out on the paddleboard. We've also got lots of fishing here, and just plain old beach lounging.
Speaking of outdoors, you say you do a lot of stuff outside. So I heard you did something really exciting last week. What did you do?
Yeah, I took my nephew paddleboarding for the first time. He's been talking about wanting to do it, and my wife and I do have paddleboards. So I took him out to King's Landing. We went and paddled just kind of an out and back trip on what's called Rock Springs Run. That is out of a county park here in Orange County, but Rock Springs is a natural clear water spring. So, really old and really cold water coming out of the earth. It's crystal clear, and makes for a beautiful little creek that we went and paddled in. He told me he wanted to go paddle on a river, and to me, I mein, there's some big rivers we could go paddle in, but getting out there on that like beautiful crystal clear water is just, man, it makes for a great time.
No gators?
Yeah, no, we did not see any gators. I have seen gators on that body of water before. You can put in there and paddle. It's about 8.5 miles downriver, and then they kind of run a shuttle. They'll come pick you up and bring you back up to where your car is. So I did that last fall, I believe, and we did see one gator out there, but that water is pretty cold, so the gators aren't very active. One of the things they do say about Florida is, people go, "Oh, aren't there gators in that water?" And you go, "Well, it's a body of water in Florida. It probably has an alligator in it."
Yeah.
But they're not out hunting people down. They're, kind of opportunistic feeders. They're waiting for, a bird to come land right in front of them or something like that. So they're one of those where you go, they're a lot more scared of us than we are of them.
Just don't poke at them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you see them, poking at them is better than stepping on them for sure. I know we also mentioned that Floridians also have discounted access to these theme parks, Disney World, Universal Studios, a lot of outdoor time then. You mentioned something about crowds. What is your favorite time a year to go to the theme parks?
Early spring, late fall is I believe it's the best time because the weather's phenomenal here. Everyone's practically in school at that time, and so we'll go out on a weekend, or we'll just do it in the evening. We'll get like our fast passes and just hit up the 2 or 3 rides that we enjoy going to at all times, and then come back home. We don't try to go in the middle of summer because everyone's on school break and whatnot. So we avoid the large crowds. We also, I enjoy taking cruises. I don't know about you. Do you take cruises here?
It's been a little while. My wife and I went on one when we were engaged, and I have not been able to get her on a boat since then.
Really?
Not that it was a bad experience, but she's just more of a she'd rather stay on the shore.
She's a land type of person. She doesn't like the cruise. Huh? Yeah, my wife used to be that way too until she went on her first cruise, and she's like, "There's no agenda on cruises.
You just go and have fun, man.
Just go and have fun." And we have and we have like 6 cruise ports here in Florida, so it's a great time to get away for the weekend or even going on a long cruise. The ports are literally about an hour away from us.
Yeah, Port Canaveral.
And then we have South Florida. We have Fort Lauderdale. We have a few big ports down here.
Well, Mo, I think we've hit on 10 really good reasons that people should consider moving to Florida. Should we wrap this thing up?
So if you'd like to connect with us about your move to Florida, you can reach out to us at movingtofloridashow@gmail.com. Or, hit our website up at movingtofloridashow.com. You can also connect with us on social media, Facebook and Instagram at Moving to Florida Show. And for Twitter, we had to shorten it up a little bit. And our handle on that is at Moving to FL Show.
Sounds good, Mo. Great wrap up there. I'm looking forward to getting outside and enjoying the sunshine a little. We've got some steaks and some chicken we're going to throw on the grill.
Nice. Very nice.
Yep. I'm about to get it rolling. All right. Well, I think that is a wrap. Thanks, everybody.